Hi guys, how's everybody doing? Let's make a cider. This is a recipe my girlfriend found on the internet. Uh, Seems like the ciders we're making with just the juice just seems to be lacking just a little. They're okay, but nothing's like just really bomb or badass. So we're gonna try something a little different. Okay, we're gonna start with we're hydrating some D47 Lavlin D47 yeast. There, we stuck a little Go Firm in there. So getting that all stirred up. Okay, Go Firm Protect Evolution. This is like the second generation of their stuff. It's used to rehydrate yeast. And then we're going to use some Fermento inside the apple wine we're going to make. And we're going to end up carbonating some of this. And what we're going to use is this is an experiment. The recipe was 5 gallons, but I'm just going to make 2. So you can use any apple juice. I've got 2 that are apple cider and one that's just apple juice. It's organic. It doesn't matter if you get organic. It just juicy juice works fine. I think part of the problem I'm having is by the time it's juiced, it just loses some of the pop, the crispness that you would have from regular cider. So then we're also going to put some wine tannins in it and a little malic acid. And I'm really going to have to reinvest in a pH meter. The recipe said you should get it to about 3.8. I have strips so I can see if I'm 4 or 2, but I just kind of got guess on the 3.8, right? But we'll get close. And let me get some stuff opened up and then we'll come right back. Okay, now we'll pour in the apple juice. We're pouring it from way up here, not because I'm too lazy to bend over, but by doing that we're getting some oxygen into the juice a little. Okay, this makes 1.5 gallons. And we're going to add 1/2 gallon of white grape juice. Same thing, you just want juice that says all juice, or it can have sorbic acid in it, which is vitamin C, but we want no sorbates or anything like that, no for preservatives. Okay, there's 2 gallons. Then, hang on a minute, let me get my additives I'm going to put in. Okay, here we have some wine tannins, and it called for 1 teaspoon for 5 gallons, so I cut it down to 3/8, so one quarter plus an eighth for 2 gallons. There's the quarter, and here's the full. There we go. There's the eighth, and then we're gonna stir this up and check the pH. So let's get it all stirred up. I'm gonna whip it around. One, just to get them tannins all mixed in there nice, but also to get some air in there. I'll be back when we check the pH. Okay, here we're back, and we're going to check the pH. There we go. Now we're just going to wait a few minutes and see what it says. Okay, here's our pH test. As you can see, we are sitting right about, we're sitting at 3. There's 4. It's definitely a little bit different color than that. I know looking through my phone screen that looks like it is, but looking at it here in real life, it's definitely a lot closer to this than it is that. So even though it's not quite 3, that's kind of cool, because I'd say we're maybe a little closer to 4, which is we wanted 3.8. So I don't think we have to add any malic acid, but still I want to taste it, and if I feel like it needs any in there, I'm just gonna add a touch. Okay, so let's give it a little taste. That's tasting pretty good mixed with the grape juice.
Don't taste it.
And let's do a pH test, or pH, the gravity reading. We should be about 6 point something. Like ABV, 6 point something. Zoom in for you. Oh, there, you can read it today. 5, so we're at about 7%. 1.052, I think. Let it turn around again. See, 5, 6, 7. 5.2, like 5.4. If you take away the cusp there. And where are my glasses?
Here.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Let's see. Now let's get. Yeah, 7% ABV, which isn't bad. We're not going to add any sugar to this. We are strictly going with what was present in the jugs to begin with. And I kind of changed my mind about adding the malic acid. Our pH is pretty good. I don't want to mess with that. And we're using D47 yeast. Yeah, everything's been sanitized. No worries about putting that back in there. We're using D47 yeast, so it will, it's going to ferment dry for sure. And then we can put some malic acid in it to give it that crisp again once we ferment it all the way out. And then I'm going to get some sweetener, some non-fermentable sweetener, and I'll let you know what I get when we get there, when we finish this up. And here's our yeast. It's not all bubbling up. Which side did I use? Oh, this side. Get my that pail's not as magnetic as the other one. Some of them stick to the stir. I'll get my pail out of there. I like to sanitize that before I do. There, pail is out. And it's not really showing any activity, but I know this yeast is good. It's already been used once today. Here's the other half of the little sachet. And my girlfriend's making a blackberry mead, and that's blackberry juice with some honey mixed in for a starter.
Blackberry honey.
Blackberry honey. So here this was mixed in with apple juice. Stirred for a little while, but I'm just going to pour that in. Give it a little rinse. And let me get the lid and the airlock and all that stuff. Okay, I totally forgot to put our fermento in there. And I don't really want to stir the yeast a lot, so we'll just sprinkle some on top and kind of break up the clumps a little inside of there with our spoon. And no big worries, once it starts fermenting, the yeast will get at that stuff and eat it all up. There we go. We're going to call that good. Okay, we're all in the bucket. We got our tag on it with the pertinent information, the date, the yeast. It's got white grape and apple juice slash a couple jugs of cider. And the starting gravity was 1.054. And see, this is why I need tags. See all that stuff back there, we just wrote it on the label, but all these meads and ciders we got going, there's several different ones. There's some meads way in the back aging. And the problem's growing and it's hard to keep track of. But it's a good problem. So let's see, this should take probably a week to ferment to dry. Because the Lavalin D47, it's got a 14% ABV. And you just saw we only have 7% ABV in our wine. So probably a week it'll be done fermenting, but we'll let it sit another week. Make sure it's all nice and clear. And with that, we're going to wrap this video up. And on this one here, we will see you back in a couple of weeks.